Radha Radha Madhavayor Vichitra Surata Rambe Nikunjodare Shasta Prastara Sangaterva Puralang Kurvain Araghe Kada Tatreva Trutita Shrajo Nipatita Sandhaya Bhuya Kada Kante Darayitasmi Marjana Krite Pratak Pravishtash Yaham. The title I gave for this verse is the Manjaris collect Kunja Prasadam. Very special prasadam, like Mahaprasad. This is Mahakunja Prasadam. Unusual type of prasadam. And there's a juxtaposition here between two different yamas or two different leelas. At least it seems so. That the verse is talking about Nishant Leela and also Pratak Leela. Because in the word, the last line itself, it says Pratak. Pratak, of course, means morning, the morning time. Pratak or Prabha, Pratak Kal. It means morning, 6 o'clock in the morning until 8:36. The translation of this verse, 180. Another when verse. There's a lot of future planning here. Hankering, Siddhi Lalasa. When will I decorate my body with the Maha cosmetics? Kajal, camphor, musk, kumkum, and sandalwood paste, fallen on Radha Madhav's love bed that fell off at the beginning of their wonderful love play in a Kunj. When will I restring the broken garlands that fell off their bodies? Means flower garlands, and wear them around my neck when I enter the Nikunj in the morning to sweep it up. So this is the first line is there, very beautiful. Radha Madhavayor Vichitra Surata Arambe Nikunjodare. So it's kind of a flashback. The mantra is going in the morning to clean up after the party, so to speak. Someone has to clean up. There's a big party all night. Next morning it's a big mess. Someone has to clean up. So it's not exactly analogous. It's all transcendental and divine. But it says that there are various ointments decorating and covering the bodies of Radha Govinda Yugal have fallen off their bodies in the Arambe. Vichitra Surata Arambe, like Kartika Aramba, or Ekadasi Aramba. Arambe means beginning. Radha Madhava, Vichitra Surata, Surata. Surata means erotic enjoyment of man and woman. And this is Vichitra Surata Arambe Kunjodare. So the wearer, of course, here is Nikunja Odare, inside the Nikunja in Vrindavan, somewhere in Vrindavan, in the Nikunj. And Radha Madhav have completed their Madhurya Leela, and it's described by Prabhupada Saraswati, Vichitra, extremely amazing. Vichitra means, Chitra means artistic, so Vichitra means very artistic and amazing. Wonderful pastimes. And now the Manjari, she's a servant, she's a humble servant. She's gone there to do her seva. So you can see that even in the spiritual world there's very, very humble seva, what we call Nichi seva. Chinadapi Sunichina Tororiva Sihishina. Sunichi means very low, very simple service of just picking up broken flower garlands, and sometimes the kunja marjan, the manjaris and sakis are sweeping the kunja afterwards. Like we may sweep the temple room after a big festival or Sunday feast, and garlands and flower malas scattered everywhere in the ecstasy of some kirtan or some event. Sometimes some events they're throwing flowers all around the place in the temple during kirtan. And everyone goes their separate ways, but there's the temple cleaning crew that stays back and sweeps up all the ecstatic flower petals scattered on the floor. And that's also another form of bliss, to think about the whole thing afterwards. So the Manjaris have come in and they have seen that they're surmising, Saraswati Pad in his Manjari Swarup is surmising that it must have been a wonderful night because everything is all over the kunja, quite euphoric and blissful exchanges of the divine couple, Radha Madhav. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. We know this song very well. It's imprinted on our devotional psyche, our devotional chitta, our chit. This is ingrained in every member of a popular institution. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. It's a very favorite of many, one of the very favorite bhajans of Srila Prabhupada, where every day, wherever Srila Prabhupada traveled, he reminded every member of ISKCON, this is the prayojan. This is the goal. Aradhya Bhagavan Brajeshatanayos Sridam Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Brajabadu Vir Sakalpita. That our goal is Vrindavan and the loving service of Radha Madhav. Where? In a temple, offering Mangalarti? That's not what Prabhupada is saying. Nikunja yuno rati keli siddhai, yayali bir yuktira pekshniya. Yuktira pekshniya. With Guru he's fully engaged in a very expert way in the Nikunja Leela of Radha and Krishna. Nikunja yuno rati keli siddhai. His siddhi, his perfection is there. He's a sadhana siddha. He's attained perfection by sadhana, and he's become perfect and gone to Goloka Vrindavan. Nikunja yuno rati keli siddhai. And he's doing his nitya seva, his siddha seva, Nikunja seva, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. So there Prabhupada is telling, where will we serve Radha Madhav? In a temple and a TOP surrounded by the 8 Sakhis? No. We will serve Radha Madhav in the Kunja. And there's Bihari and Biharini. Kunja Bihari Krishna, Kunja Biharini Radha. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. And who will we serve with? Will we serve with the various leaders and organizers of the institution? No. Gopi Jana Vallabha. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha. Giri Varadari. So we worship Giridhari so he can attain the Kunja Leela of Radha Madhav in the association of the gopis. And where will that be? In Navadvip, on the banks of the Ganga? No. Yamuna Tire. Yamuna Tire Vanachari. Yamuna Tire Vanachari. I will go to the Van, Vrindavan, on the banks of the Yamuna Tire Vanachari. And I will be with the Sakhis and Manjaris. This is Prabhupada's Siddhi Lalasa. Siddhi Lalasa. He's hankering and reaching out for this Nitya Seva in the Nitya Dham of Vrindavan with Radha Madhava, and inviting all of his devotees to join him there. Nikunja yuno rati keli siddhai, yayali bir apekshaniya. Tatrati dakshadati valavasya vande guru sri charanarvindam. So open your ears. What are you hearing? What does it mean? Where is it pointing you towards? What is the direction? What is the goal? Open your ears, open your minds, open your hearts. It's all there in one bhajan. And 5 minutes, you've got the whole thing. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. It's not part of the morning program. It's not a daily ritual preceding the Bhagavat Katha. It is the life and substance of every Gaudiya Vaishnava, of which we are all members of that Sampradaya, Gaudiya Sampradaya. And once or twice in his Prakat Leela, we could say, Prabhupada entered into ecstasy while singing this song. Once it's recounted in Leelamrita, in 1971 in Gorakhpur, which is the headquarters for Gita Press, owned by the great Hanuman devotee named, appropriately enough, his name was Hanuman Prasad Podar. He was a great Ram Bhakta like Hanuman, Dasya Rati Hanuman, and he loved his Ram and he loved Krishna, and he publishes so many books. He became a friend of Prabhupada, and he sponsored Prabhupada to come to his city and bless his city with his divine footprints and sacred Harikatha and Sarasanga. And of course, bring all your white elephants also. Your dancing white elephants will appear on the stage in Gorakhpur, UP, to entertain all the UP Vasis with their ecstatic chanting and dancing of the Hare Krishna mantra. There they were, Shyamsundar, Malati, Yamuna, Gurudas, Guru Kripa, Bhanudas, who was then Bhanudas, who is now the illustrious Pujapad Sri Bhanu Swami, famous Pandit of ISKCON and translator, and my friend also. There he was, Japanese and German, and Hansadutta was there, and the whole gang. Hare Krishna, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. So Prabhupada chanted this bhajan, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varada, and then he just dropped the kartals. Ta, closed his eyes. Prabhupada went Nityadam, Leela Pravesh of Radha Madhav. Prabhupada was in Gorakhpur, Radha Madhav were in Mayapur. One side of India is Gorakhpur, another side is Mayapur. And in Mayapur in 71 there was Radha Madhav. And Prabhupada's mind went to Radha Madhav, his mind went to Yamuna, his mind went to Sevakunj, his mind went to Leela, and he left this world. Bye. And the tears are coming in his eyes, and devotees were, what's happened? They didn't know, they never saw sattvic vikars before, in that greatly sober and grave world. Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada was so grave and so self-controlled. He never exhibited any outward signs of transcendental ecstasy, but this occasion it was obvious, clear to everyone. It seemed like hours, it was only a few minutes, and that interval of time, the devotees looked at each other and they didn't know what to do, they didn't know where to go, and they didn't know where to take shelter, so they took shelter of all they know, and everyone started chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. That's the best thing you can do at any time, in any circumstance. So Prabhupada opened his eyes and gave his pravachan. So this is Surata Rambe, at the beginning of their surata, which means their erotic sports, surata. All these, the sound of what so many things have slipped off their bodies, and this is the scene we find. We have to visualize that, or at least we attempt to give a more fuller absorption in the whole experience of this particular verse. We are supposed to experience these verses and see these verses and feel these verses and pray to these verses and remember these verses. And if you're really smart, you can even memorize them, or at least the ideas, in your own language. And then we're meant to serve there and attain there and go there. Now it's just out of focus and quite distant, because our prem and our bhav are not very much developed. Yes, it's true, we have some love of God. We have some. Because bhakti means love of God. Pramanda Brahmate Kaun Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Latta Vijam. The word pai means you receive. It is correctly translated in the CC that from Krishna you receive love. From Krishna or Guru you receive bhakti, which means divine love, love divine. Pramanda Brahmate Kaun Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Latta Bij. The bhakti is not inside of you. The bhava is not inside of you. The prema is not inside of you. And in this verse, in this translation, Prabhupada agrees with that. And he says that. You receive it from outside yourself. It's not inherent or intrinsic to the Nityabhara Jiva. It's received, which means you don't have it and you get it. From whom? Guru Krishna. How do you get it? By grace, by mercy. It's causeless. There's nothing you can do to get it but just exist. Just live, exist, and if Kon Bhagavan, if you're one of those cones, or clones, if you're one of those cones, which means somebody, kon, bhagya, somebody gets the bhagya, somebody is fortunate. Brahmanda, everyone's Brahmanda Brahmate. Brahmanda Brahmate. Everyone is wandering all over the universe. One lifetime India, next life America, one lifetime India, next life Russia, one life India, next life Spain, Italy, whatever, who knows where. Next life, the moon planet, Chandraloka. It's told. A yogi, he doesn't practice for a long time, but he does lots of yoga. He goes to Chandraloka, enjoys. He takes birth again. He does lots of yoga, immediately he takes birth on earth. Suchinam Srimatam Gehi. Sena Gita. There's 2 verses about where you go. A yogi that practices bhakti yoga, whatever yoga, for some time without siddhi or perfection, he goes up Chandraloka. It's the nearest planet, and he enjoys. And he comes down to earth and gets good family. But he had Kara Mishra Bhakti. He was doing bhakti, but he had a lot of material desires. But another devotee, or yogi, bhakti yogi, who practiced for a long time and was really clear and pure in mind, but not perfect, he again takes birth on earth. Suchinam Srimatam Gehi, in a very clean and pious religious family of devotees. So these are the 2 options. So it may take many lifetimes, but somehow we get that fortune and we go on. So this is the first line of the verse. I was just telling about the... I'll just go line by line, and then I'll do the second line. Savange sputa champaka chavir, Shwasta prastara sangater vapur along kurve anagari kada. In the second line he's saying that what I see is that the flower bed, the sangate, prastara sangate, a very beautiful way of describing flower bed. Sangha, where Radha and Krishna met on that bed, the prastara sangate. Vapu means their body. All the alankara, the decorations, ornaments. Angarage means, anga means bodily limbs, and rage means color. It's a way of saying body makeup. Angarag. Now all their body, when will I go there? And I'll come into the kunja, and the idea here appears that there's a Leela, Nishant Leela, Radha and Krishna waking up, then they leave, then the Manjaris enter into the kunja immediately afterwards, some Manjaris. Radharani is scurrying off to Yavat or to Varsana. Krishna is going to Nandagan. And the Sakhis and Manjaris are escorting Radharani, but some are staying back, the cleanup crew. Not everybody goes out on the Harinam. Somebody stays back to fix the Sankirtan vehicles. repair the cars, or do the artik, or cook the noon offering, and going to a festival. So some stay back. So in this line, the Manjari enters the kunja, and then she sees all these wonderful things lying there unclaimed, all these yours for the taking, Mahaprasad. Imagine going into the Didi room and in the evening time, and all the Manjaris have gone to sleep, and you just think, well, let me stop in the Didi room, see if anything's there. And somebody forgot all this Mahaprasadam. You come back from Sankirtan and the Manjaris are sleeping, and say, anyway, see, I feel like, let's see what Krishna arranges. So you go in there, and the Pujari very carefully stashed some burfi or some sandesh, and he was so busy doing service and so tired, he ran off the altar and forgot about his stash. And the deity preparation room was public territory, especially if you're a Brahmin and you're a book distributor too. So you go in there and say, oh wow, Krishna's mercy, So then you take that burfi, sandesh, sabji, whatever, puri, and you take it, go out with your friends, say, look, at Krishna's mercy, I found this, all right, ta-ta-ta. And that's gone. Then maybe the next day have a jury, if he's really attached, he'll try to inquire what happened to his burfi, but hopefully he won't be that neophyte. It went to some other devotee besides him. So here the Manjaris come in and see all the cosmetics, and they're kind of excited. They say, wow, all this. And they're also imagining what wonderful leelas, or remembering what leelas that they saw through the night when they were fanning. So then I'm busy, I see these wonderful things, and so immediately, so this is very interesting, as I mentioned here in the first one point, basically what comes, they come in the kunja, they see all these cosmetics, kasturi and camphor, kumkum, musk, scattered around the flower bed, prastara sangate, and then they immediately take the prasad. Take the cosmetics, rub it on their forehead, or like you go to a temple, they have a little dish of chandan. There's a little tiny plate with chandan on it. It's already been offered to the Thakurji. Like Radha Damodar, they paint his face and his hand and his arm, and then they put outside, and all the bhaktas come, oh, this is Mahaprasad Chandan from Damodar, Radharaman, Govindaji, whomever, or Kundeshwar Mahadev, whatever. And they take it, oh, this is nice, like that. Just like I have this deity oils, Sugandhi, and I give it to the Brahmins, and they go, and then they rub it all over their shirts and everything, because they aren't washing their clothes. Like I would never do that because I wash my own clothes. So I don't want to get all that, but they don't care because somebody else is doing it. So they rub oil over their shirt and everything like this. Nice, Have you seen? I've seen. So they really get absorbed in engaging their senses in Krishna's Mahaprasadam. So Manjaris are no different. As above, so below. So this is the Sadhaka Vesh and their Siddha Vesh. So they're going in and they're immediately taking the remnants and they're decorating their bodies with that. That's what it starts off with. When will I decorate my body with the Mahaprasad Chandan and musk and kunkum and camphor and all these things? And then they go to work. First they take their paycheck, then they go to work. This is not like the material world. Material world, you have to work very hard, and then oh, can I have some money, or where's my paycheck? But here, as soon as I walk into Kunja, I start decorating myself. Oh, Mahaprasad ki jai. It's a very good management principle. Give all the Mahaprasad first and say, excuse me, by the way, can you do some seva now? Yeah, sure, what do you want? Now you're inspired. Now you're excited, you're inspired, do some seva. So this is the transcendental transcendental management, that they're rewarded before they even do anything. Then they get to their task of doing seva, they restring the broken garlands that fell off. So they pick up all the flowers and the broken garlands. Sometimes you get a garland, it breaks, and you tie it again and put it on your neck. So this whole verse is all about, collecting Mahaprasadam, and then, oh, by the way, I should sweep the kunja. So the Manjaris go in first, and they, oh, look all this chandan, oh wow, it's nice, and camphor and kunkum. And they say, oh, look all these flowers, all these really fragrant sugandhi, what do you call it, mogra flowers and gulab, and oh, it's broken, and they tie it together. Oh, nice. This is Krishna's Kadamba garland, or Radharani's mogra garland, or Juhi garland. And then some other manjari says, okay, now seva karo. Oh yeah, here, jar. And then Rupa Manjari hands you a jaru, a broom, and says, now do something. Oh yeah, okay. And you sweep the kunja. So it concludes with, when will I enter the kunja? Pratak kal, it says, in the morning, and marjan. Daryatasmi, marjana, krite pratak, pravistasmi. It's so unusual that what we consider nowadays in a preaching pravachan movement, like say ISKCON or Gaudiya Math, the very simple temple-type services are relegated to what's socially considered an inferior service. Oh, you're a temple devotee. You just sweep the temple and this kind of thing, and cook offerings. Or we're Sankirtan devotees. We distribute sets of books and go to the airport. We collect the money and we sell the books. We're the big timers. We get all the recognition and all the Mahaprasad plates and all that. But what we hear and when we understand about the types of bhakti, that there's aropa siddha bhakti, and then there's bhakti anukulya, and then different types of bhakti are analyzed by the Goswamis. So Swarup Siddha Bhakti is primarily that devotion which is directly linked to the pleasure of Radha and Krishna, specifically Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. These are the limbs or the practices of devotion. He was spending all his time hearing and chanting, remembering and serving Krishna within his mind, is rendering the topmost pure form of devotional service called Sarup Siddha Bhakti, that which is directly related to the perfection of your Siddha Sarup and what you will do in the spiritual world. The Manjaris and Gopis are always hearing and singing and chanting and remembering Radha and Krishna and dreaming about them. But in addition to that, they're doing other things, like you must have heard. We sing. What is it, that third verse? Mandira Marjan, when we're glorifying Guru and Guru Vastakam. How's it go? Yuktasya Bhaktams Charanyan Chatopi. Sri Vigrahara Dhananijan Shringaratan Mandira Marjanando. Shringaratan Mandira Marjanando. So I stay back at the temple. I'm a useless, wimpy, useless pujari. I'm not a kshatriya, and I don't go out and preach and sell books. I just stay back and cook and do puja. So oftentimes in the macho type consciousness in many temples, they're not considered. But in the very glorification of the Guru himself, what is he doing? He's doing Shringaratan Mandira Marjanando. He's dressing the deities. He's dressing Radha and Krishna, his Manasadeha. And his Manasadeha, his Siddhadeha, is mentally conceived, Antarchitta. antas chintadeham. He's in his mentally conceived spiritual body, he's decorating and anointing and dressing Radha Madhav, or Radha Shyamsundar, Radha Giridhari. And then afterwards he's cultivating humility, because that's a very high and intimate personal service, addressing the deities. So on one level, he's right there as a personal sevite of Radharani and Krishna. Shri Vigrahara Dananichan Shri Vigrahara Dananichanana Shingaratanman. He's decorating their bodies, he's rubbing their bodies with oil, massaging the bodies and chest and breast of Krishna and Radha, and their legs and arms and faces and noses. He's touching them and then dressing them and painting them and decorating them. So he's very close to them, touching their bodies, and so intimate and dear to them. But then he says, okay, Trinadapi Sunichena. Now I roll up my sleeves and take off my puja dhoti, my silk dhoti, or my whatever, jute dhoti, and I put on a gumshan, a t-shirt, and I go out, in the temple itself, I clean the temple room, Thakurji's temple room, then I go out and sweep the temple. I clean the temple like a humble servant. So there, in sadhaka rup, as the pujari or as a rank and file devotee in a temple, the humble sevite, I'm sweeping the temple. And the Guru himself is glorified. We glorify the Guru doing Jaru Seva. Mandira Marjanando. You clean the mandir with a broom and a wiper, a rag and some water. This is a cleaner lady or cleaner Nichi. It's called Nichi Seva. So here the Guru, one level he's the Guru, and one level he's decorating Radha and Krishna, and next time he's sweeping. So that's happening in the sadhaka level. It's also happening in the siddha level. It's also happening in the Nitya Siddha Dham, in the spiritual world. We're hearing here that Saraswati Pada is Manjari Srup. When will I enter the kunja and sweep it up? So sweeping up the kunja or sweeping the deity room is the same. The deity room in the temple is the place of Radha Madhav's Leela, their love play, their Vichitra Surata Rambe. And they're having their Bhojan Leela there, and their Surata Leela, and their Shayan Leela, and the Ratikeli. All Leelas of the Lord are happening in the Griha Garbha, the temple room, the Sanctum Sanctorium, I believe it's called. Sanctum Sanctorium. And then the Manjaris come in, or the Pujari, or the Guru, or you and your Siddhasrup, and you do this seva. So here, this is in the Tika, we were hearing a pastime describing the waking up of Radha and Krishna, Nishant Leela. This is technically called Nikunja Bhanga Leela. Bhanga means to break. Breaking their Leelas in the Kunja, which happens every morning, early morning, between 3:36 and 6. And who's there here in this particular Leela? Who are the players here? When will I? So it sounds like there's only one Manjari there, and Sakya Manjari. There's a Nayaka, Radha, and a hero and the heroine. There's a Nayak, the Nayaka, and the Sevaka. These three are there, the Manjari Sevaka, and the Nayaka, or heroine, Sri Radha, and Sri Krishna, the Nayak. And the gallant romantic lover Shyamsundar, and the Prema Shraya, the beautiful and enchanting lady love, Sri Kishoriju. So this explains who is acting and playing in the Leela, Radha and Krishna and the Manjaris. So I mentioned here there's an overlapping of the time frames of Nishant Leela. It's as if Radha and Madhav just left. It's a juncture. It's not night, it's not day. They've just left the kunja, or maybe they've stepped outside in the veranda, as we heard before. They go out on the veranda, and then they relax and drink some sharbat and get some fanning and some new decorations and hair braiding or whatnot. And other manjaris, or at least this one manjari, runs in to do the needful of cleaning the kunja. So this is the what I call the Manjari cleanup crew. Enters the Nikunj in the aftermath of the Vichitra Surata Lila, the love sports, and she picks up the remains, the remnants, the kinkaris of Radharani, or the maidservants. They're the personal servant girls of the Queen of Vrindavan, Srimati Vrindavaneshwari Radharani. So the Manjaris are maids, they're Radha's maids, just like in a hotel. In a hotel, the maids enter the guest room after the guests have slept and left, and then they go in, they scurry around, make the bed, sweep the floor, clean everything up. So you can be a maid in the spiritual world. And if you made it to the spiritual world, you may become a handmaiden of Radharani, part of the cleanup crew. And you clean up the objects, just like when maids in a hotel, they go in, they pick up, oh look, the lady dropped an earring, a diamond earring. And the guy forgot his Rolex watch, oh too bad. And into the pocket it goes. So that's another way of getting prasadam of some sort. But here we just want the chandan and the kumkum and the musk and the flowers. We're good with that. So he's in the Tika. They're saying that we should pray to Saraswati Pad, that we can do such service, and they include a prayer from the Abhishta Suchan Stava, which is in Stavavali by Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami is Tulsi Manjari, and he's praying to Rupa Manjari, who is the chief Manjari, Rupa Raghunatha Padi, Haivayakuti. Rupa Manjari and Rati Manjari, or rather Tulsi Manjari, they're always together in the Kunja, and they're always together in Gaur Lila, and they're always together in Krishna Lila, as Radharani's servants and as Gauranga, Radha Krishna's servants. So Abhishta means his desire, his prayer. He's praying like this. This is what he wants and what he's praying for and what he hopes to attain. And we should also pray like this. We should pray like Tulsi Manjari, like Raghunath. That's why Stavavali by Raghunath Das is so invaluable to any Raganuga Bhakta. It's like the Bible, every part of it is so important. I mean, especially selected parts. There are many, it's all good, but some is not exactly fully focused on Manjari Bhava Upasana. And that can be understood with a teacher and one's guidance. So he says, Manmanason miladaneka sangama prayasa kunjodara labda sangayo nivedya sakya arpaya mam swasevane viti pradana vasare brajeshayo viti pradana vasare brajeshayo. The translation is that, oh my friend, oh Saki, Rupa Manjari, the king and queen of Braj, who are always manifest in my heart, have met in the Kunja, or Kunj actually, after great endeavor. Prayasa Kunjodara Labda Sangayo, Labda, Lob. They've attained their Sangha, they've attained inside the Kunja. Prayas means lots of work, like Shreyas and Prayas. Prayas means lots of work, or endeavor. After great endeavor, please, O Rupa Manjari, introduce me, Tulsi Manjari, or me, Navadasi, or me, Navadasi Manjari, whomever you may be. Please introduce me to their service while you are offering them tambul, or betel leaves. So this is when you read these pastimes, this pastime Saraswati Pad is rendering this service of sweeping the kunja after Radha Madhav's Vichitra Surata Lila. Amazing and wonderful love sports. and collecting all this wonderful Mahaprasadam. So in this particular verse, we would pray to Saraswati Paro, Prabhupada Saraswati, and your Manjari form, you're rendering this wonderful service. And please bless me and introduce me that someday I could be so fortunate to sweep the Kunja directly after Radha Madhav's intimate pastimes and be rewarded by all these flower garlands and chandan and kumkum fragrance and kumkum powder and sandalwood and camphor. So he's praying for that. So this is what's we're indicated here in the Tika that we should pray. The Manjaris pray. The Manjaris pray to other maidservants for the seva of Radharani. Here, Tulsi Manjari, who is Raghunath Das, he's praying to Rupa Manjari, oh, please introduce me. Please give me a chance. He's begging for service. He's praying for service. So this is the reward. The Manjaris get this great reward by doing their seva, or even beforehand. So I have a note here that the Manjaris, they only think and feel and move in the seva of Radha Krishna Yugal. The Manjaris never think a split second about themselves. As I gave the example of the Pujari the Sankirtan devotee may enter the deity room after hours at night and find some Mahaprasad and consider that a reward. But he's already gone there with a motivation. He's only gone there with the thought that I may get a reward. I may find some Mahaprasad there. Because he heard about it before, or he found it once before, or he's hoping against hope that the forgetful principle will work on the head Pujari, and head Pujari will forget that stash and he'll collect it. I remember after these big festivals in Krishna Balaram Mandir at Janmashtami, and everyone's fasting from grains, and so many cakes and cookies and cupcakes and samosas and fruit stuffed samosas and all kinds of amazing, wonderful things are offered to Krishna. And the Manjaris are pretty excited about that, but they're controlling their senses, so then they stash them in different places. Cups of sweet rice and date gore sweet rice or saffron sweet rice with tons of cashews and raisins. And so you go in later and you have to go upstairs in the deity room. There's an upstairs, and you go up there and looking for some tulsi dress or some seva. And you go up there, what's on that shelf up there? And you reach up there and you find a cup and there's green mold on it and all kinds of things. And now it's Radhastami. It's 2 weeks later. It was left there on Janmashtami. And you find all this old stash of Mahaprasadam. Because whatever they remembered, wherever they ate that at 1 o'clock or the next day, and they went unconscious and forgot all about the other things. So it's quite a common practice for the pujaris to stash prasadam all over the place. At least I've seen in my own eyes. Sometimes you're lucky you get something that's really fresh. I remember going in the next morning after Janmashtami to do Mangalarti, and I found some prime Mahaprasadam, and I immediately put it in my bag for later consumption. I mean, of course I didn't. I offered artik first. We're all human beings, aren't we? Mahaprasada Govinde Nama Brahmane Vaishnave Swam Punyavata Rajan Vishvaso Nevajayate. If you don't have much punya, then you won't steal Mahaprasadam. But if you have a lot of punya, you'll steal it. Mahaprasadam Govinde Nama Brahmane says, if you don't have much punya, you can't appreciate it. But if you have a lot, you will even steal it. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating stealing Mahaprasadam, but I am advocating eating Mahaprasadam. Up to here. It says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Lord Chaitanya, when he served out prasadam, He was a very big man, 7 feet tall. He had very large hands. And when he would serve the prasadam to the devotees, he would put enough prasadam on their plate for 5 men to eat. 5 men. Tom, tom, piles of rice and sabji and sweets. And he had these huge hands. And then when the devotees are eating, this is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So as they're eating, and they're eating in between bites, Hari, 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 Hari. Because they found out that that particular mantra is very good for digestion. Hari, 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 Hari. I'm really fired up. Oh no. Hari, Hari, Hari. So between bites they're chanting, Hari, 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 Hari. Which means, Hari means steal or thief. So take away my indigestion. And give me lots of digestion. So they're chanting Hari, Hari between bites. And then it says, and Lord Chaitanya was saying, Anyor, eat more, eat more. And then they would say, then one devotee would say, in the middle of all this ecstasy of honoring Jagannath Mahaprasadam and Puri, being served out directly by the beautiful lotus hands of Lord Chaitanya, and they didn't even have to ask. They didn't have to lust over the sweet rice, or will I get enough sweet rice? I don't know, it's only a couple of buckets and there's 200 people and chances look bad, you know. I think I only get 2 cups, it looks like. We're calculating when the service is going on. But they're not worried because Lord Chaitanya gives them enough for 5 men. It's like each devotee got 2 plates for prasadam. Not 1, 2. 1 for sweets and 1 for others, sabjis, puris. Now this is style. This is eating in style. This is Mahaprabhu's style. 1 entire thali for sweets. Now that's the way to do it. And 1 entire thali for sabji, rice, puris, samosas, kachoris, and other chutney, etc. Or chutney even, side order. This is the way. So then, some devotee who is a little more Brahminically minded and trying to do the Macha Vegam, Manasakrodam Vegam thing, control his senses, he says, Vaishnav Savadan! Vaishnav Savadan! Savadan means be careful. You're all overeating. Maybe it was Ramachandra Puri or someone, I don't know. But he said, Vaishnav Savadan. And what did they reply? They said, Akanta Puran. They said Savadan, and they said Akanta Puran. Puran means full, and Akanta means throat. We're already full to our throats. We filled up our stomachs to here. So this is the Mahaprasadam. This is the way of taking Mahaprasadam of the followers of Gauranga Bhaktas, the Nitya Parishads. Of course, we're not Nitya Parishads, so we have some limitation. We cannot eat up to our necks. That's unfortunate for us. We can only eat up to our chest. Can only go this high, then boom. Oh, enough. So this is the reward, the prasadi reward, the manjaris, but they're not thinking about that. That's the whole idea, that someone may have an idea, I'll get this Mahaprasad, or I want this, or I want to enjoy that, but they never think like that. They never think a split second about themselves. The manjaris are fully identifying with their minds and hearts, with the mind and heart and wishes of their Ishvari Swamini Sri Radha. Because the manjaris are bhav tadatmaya, one at all times with Radha's love and Radha's moods and Radha's feelings and her needs. But nevertheless, without even thinking about their reward or their whatever you want to call it, Radharani personally arranges to give them her remnants and the remnants of Krishna Adara Amritam. In Govinda Lilamrita you see the manjaris come in the evening back from Nandagaon, or in the morning, or in the evening after Krishna's evening dinner, and they brought so many sweets and things that Radharani and other Sakhis cooked for Krishna's dinner, But Radharani was not there in Nandagram, so they returned to Yavat with Krishna's Mahaprasadam. So the Vrindadevi and other Manjaris, Sakhis, they were serving Radharani. And then Radharani said, take some prasad and send it to Vrindadevi and the Vandevis. They're in the forest making arrangements for Nisha Lila. So take some of Krishna's remnants, which means her remnants also, after she finishes. And she has her mind, she's always thinking. Radharani is not thinking, I'm relishing Krishna's remnants, which she is, and her hair is standing on end, and she's trembling and she's perspiring from the ecstatic experience of Krishna's Adhara Amritam, tasting the nectar of his lips and feeling his very presence by that form of Mahaprasadam. So Radharani is completely absorbed in her own internal ecstasies of Madhurarati. But at the same time, she has karuna. She has vatsalya and karuna. She's full of compassion and motherly affection for her girls, her girlfriends. So she's saying, take this, take these remnants, take it like they have in India. Everyone runs around with these tiffins, little containers, three stories or whatever. Take these tiffins and take to the Kunja, take to Vrindavan, to Vrindadevi and the Vandevis that are assisting her and arranging for all the Nisha Lila, Ras Lila, all these things. And then she says, Tulsi Manjari, come, take prasadam. So Radharani arranges that all the Manjaris, she takes Krishna's prasad and she makes arrangements. So she personally rewards the Manjaris, or she makes arrangements for her Sevites, her Manjaris, to receive. In so many other ways, the Manjaris are given prasadi, the grace food. I saw in one book, someone translated prasadam as grace food. Said that when we were serving, it was a biography of Teen Kori Goswami, a famous devotee here, Kishore Ananda, Nityadamaka Sri Kishore Ananda, who is commonly or affectionately known as Teen Kori Goswami. He was a Goswami by birth, came in a very royal Brahmin family from Bengal. He was a Babaji, and Nityananda Parivar. His place is on the Radhakund bank there, his temple, on the south side. Teen Kori Goswami, so in his biography it said that when we would stay with Baba, he would make sure that we took grace food, prasadam. This is a professor who wrote this book, how to translate prasadam. Mercy food? It sounds a little odd, so I thought that was a clever translation. Grace, this is the grace. The grace, so the form of Radha's leftovers, her love remnants. So what are these? Generally when you think of prasadam, you think of something you eat. But these are Radharani's love remnants. Pan, her tambul, her clothes, her jewelry. This is in other circumstances. Here, Radharani is giving her broken flower garlands and her cosmetics. But sometimes Radharani gives the pan or tambul she's chewing in her mouth. She gives it right to the Manjaris. So these are directly the love remnants of her pan tambul, her clothes, her jewelry, her personal clothes and jewelry. She gives her cholis to the Manjaris. She gives her dress to the Manjaris. Like the big sister may give her little sister, here's my old dress, thank you. So the Manjaris, there are verses like that also, which we've covered. They receive Radharani's. It says, Swaminya Prasad Sakaratala Pranayata Dattam. Swaminya Prasad, it said, Kanchuka Patram Tukulam. Kanchuka Patram Tukulam Swaminya Prasadam Pranayata swakarata pranayata datum. That Radharani, swakarata, with her own hands, pranayena datum, she lovingly gives me with her own hands her kanchukapatam dukulam. She gives me her, what you say, choli, kanchuka, her choli and her dress with her own hand. She says, oh Manjari, here, Navadasi, take this. Can you imagine how fortunate that Manjari feels when she puts on? This is Radharani's kanchuli, this is Radharani's dress. So this is the loving intimacy of, this is real sisterly love. Radharani is a whooping 14 years old. She's really old, 14. The Manjaris are really old, they're 12. They're a bunch of little girls, cute, beautiful, and very naughty. Cute, innocent, beautiful, tender, voluptuous, seductive, and naughty. These are the Manjaris and Sakhis. Sakhigan. So they get jewelry and cosmetics and malas and clothes and tambul. What more reward do you want? Basically what the Manjaris receive is all of Radharani's love, all of Krishna's love, and all of Radha and Krishna's love together. Radha Govinda Yugal Prem, Pradata. Krishna Prema Pradhayate. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is giving Gauranga Krishna Prema Pradayate. Gauranga means Krishna in Radha Bhav and Radha Kanti. So Krishna as Gauranga is giving Radha's love, Radha's Mahabhav, and Radha's effulgent golden color, and giving all of us an effulgent golden sarup, Siddha Sarup, and giving us this prem, this Radha Krishna prema. So this is, oh what bliss and anand come just by being a humble servant, being Radha's suparicharani, good maidservant. And there's the maid, let's see, oh that is some Leela here, describing this whole thing. Let's see what we can do with that. A nice Leela that combines these two junctures of time which I mentioned. It seems to be Nishant Leela. This is how the commentators see it, that Nishant Leela is drifting on, and then Radha and Krishna have finished, they're about to leave, or they're leaving, or they've left. Now, because the verse says pratak, it says when in the morning, it says kante darayatasmi marjana krite, I will clean up pratak pravishtasmi aham. Pravesh, in the morning time I will enter there, I will go there in the morning and I will do my seva. So it starts off like this, oh, while looking through the holes, this is the Nishant Leela, the conclusion of Radha and Krishna's evening pastimes in the Kunja. Nikunj Odare. While looking through the holes in the grove's foliage, the Sakhis and Manjaris, they relish the sweetness of the young couple with the cups of their eyes, and they're drinking through their eyes, so sweet. It seems that all the beauty of the three worlds is lying in front of the Manjari's eyes on a flower bed in the form of the transcendental bodies of Radha and Krishna. The clothing and ornaments of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna have fallen off, and the lamps, the oil lamps burning in the corner of the kunja, very faint and soft light. You know these oil lamps, they give very soft light, and they're not using kerosene lanterns like we may use in Russia or America or somewhere. Something cheap, stinking fuel. They're lanterns, they're burning sandalwood oil. Haribo. No shortage of money over there. So sandalwood oil gives a very clean smoke, and it smells, of course, like sandalwood, which is a lot different than kerosene. And not only does it give out beautiful soft light, which is the same everywhere with light, but it's a cooling light because it's sandalwood. Just like there's different kinds of fire, there's 5 kinds of water and 5 kinds of fire. Many hierarchy is everywhere in this world. There's 5 kinds of water. It's quite a science, and the Indians have studied it all. If you want to get into it. So it's very fragrant, and that's a very faint and dim light, as would be expected in such a confidential, intimate place like a kunja. But in that very faint light, when the Manjaris are looking through the holes of the interstitials of the kunja, they see that because their clothes and ornaments are fallen off, and this beautiful blue body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shamsundar, and it looks like a beautiful lotus bud, like a bud of a lotus flower. And then the Radharani's beautiful golden form of Srimati Radharani looks like the golden bud of a champak flower. And they just see these beautiful blue effulgence dancing inside this kunja in this faint light and mixing with this golden effulgence of Radharani's divine form. It's very soothing and attractive and overwhelming mood and feeling created by that lighting, because as you well know, lighting and music and timing and everything goes together to make the ideal romantic atmosphere. Romance is everything has its setting, its exact precise setting, the time, the place, the lighting, the colors. If you want to understand this principle, then read Krishna book. In Mathura Leela, when Krishna met the hunchback named Kubja. Kubja was Suparnaka in Ram Leela. In Ram Leela, Krishna in the form of Ram, Bhagavan Ramachandra, he took a vow of Ekpatni Brat, only one wife. And she proposed to him. She's very beautiful. She's a Brahmani. She was the sister of Ravana. Ravana was a Brahmin. He had a very golden and beautiful form. When he fought, he would manifest 10 heads and quite ferocious, but nevertheless, he's an extremely handsome and daring and dashing person. What to speak of powerful. So he conquered so many demigods and all over the universe, and their wives and concubines and servants all went to become part of his harem. Ravana's harem, I guess you would call it, in Sri Lanka. And they were all taken care of very nicely. In the kingdom, everything was flourishing. There was only one bad quality about Ravana. He was lusty after Sita. And that was his downfall. Otherwise, he was a very charitable and relatively good person in one sense. He's not a demon. He represents a demoniac principle of uncontrolled lust and what happens with that. But nevertheless, so when Ram was in Dandakaranya forest, then the sister of Ravana, Suparnaka, was extremely beautiful and all attractive. She came to surrender to him as one of his queens. And Kshatriya Dharma, the king is supposed to accept a surrendered woman in any circumstance. What to speak of a beautiful woman like Suparnaka. But he was, for his own purposes, they played games with her. Lakshman and Ram played games with her. And then finally, knowing the mind and heart of Ram and carrying out the order of Ram, then Lakshman cut off her ears and nose, which of course, that's the end of her beautiful face, obviously. So she went crying in a rage back to Ravan. Then that was also one cause of the war between Ram and Ravana. It was caused by some very unhappy ladies, no doubt. So, but because Suparnaka approached Bhagavan with the mood of Sharanagati Bhav, with surrender, then Krishna tells in Gita, chapter 4, verse 11, Ye tamam prapadyante tam sateva bhajamiham mama vartante manusham partha sarvashaha. He says, as you surrender unto me, I reward you accordingly. So Shupurnaka came to Ram and Ram Leela and Treta Yuga, and she said, Mantan Dan Ram Samarpan. Mantan Dan Ram Samarpan. My mind, my body, my wealth, my whole entire being, I'm surrendering at your feet. Accept me, take me, I'm yours. Accept me as your queen. And Ram said, no. Mera ek patni brata. Nishta. I will not. And instead of that, she was disfigured for life. However, because she approached Bhagavan, she was rewarded. What was the reward? In Krishna Leela. Because Krishna is Bhaktavatsal. Of all the forms of Bhagavan, they are one in tattva, but different in ras, and different in qualities. Krishna is called Sarvaishvarya and Sarvagun. He's called Purnatam Bhagavan. There's Purna Bhagavan, Purnatara Bhagavan, and Purnatam. Purnatam Bhagavan has all the gunas and all the lakshanas and all the rasas. All the rasas, the panch rasas. Not only the panch rasas, but all the aspects of all the rasas, which we described. But Ram is limited in ras and limited in qualities, what he displays, and the Shringa and Vishnu, etc. So Ram couldn't accept her because his Vatsali, his affection for the devotee is less. But Krishna is Bhakta Vatsalya Samudra. He's an ocean of Bhakta Vatsalya. Putana came to kill Krishna. He was 6 days old. Putana Rakshasi. She came with Kalakuta poison on her stan, on her nipple. Poison to kill 1,000 men. She came to murder Krishna, to kill him, infant baby. And what did Krishna do? He not only didn't send her to hell, didn't send her to Yamraj, he killed her demoniac form. He took away and killed her demoniac form, her asura vastu, and gave her Datri Rup. Datri Rup, Datta. He gave her the form, the spiritual form of a nurse, his own nurse in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. She became a nurse, a Datri, in Goloka. This is Bhaktavatsal. This is in 3rd canto, Uddhava Sandesh in 3rd canto. He's saying, Aho Bhakti Kalastana Kuta. He says, Aho Bhakti, aho, just see, alas, see how Bhakti. Bhakti means the sister of Bakasura. Agasura, Bakasura, Putana were 3 family members. Putana was the younger sister, then Bakasura, Agasura. They were in Krishna Leela. And they're all killed by Krishna. So he says, Aho Bhakti, that's the name for Putana. She came to poison this little boy, Krishna, but he's so compassionate, so loving, so kind, so dear. So therefore, Shupurnaka came back as Kubja, and when Kubja, she entered Mathura Leela, then Krishna made love with her and satisfied her completely and gave her a beautiful body. She appeared with a bent-over body. She was hunchback. She was called Trivakra. Trivakra means bent in 3 places, like Krishna. Krishna is Tribanga Lalitam, Banki Bihari Lal Ki Jai. She was Trivakra. She's like Ashtavakra Muni, was 8 places. So she Trivakra. She's bent in the neck, in the chest, neck, chest, and the knees, just like Krishna. Krishna's neck is bent, his chest. So she's Trivakra Kubja, and he's Trivakra Mathuranath, Krishna. But in Mathura, he doesn't stand in Tribanga, because he's king. Vasudeva Putra in Mathura. He's Vasudeva Krishna. So he gave her a beautiful body. He lifted up her chin, and she became beautiful. This is Krishna book in Mathura Leela. And then he enjoyed with her. Now, what I'm describing is that the place, the Leela, the kunjas, and how beautiful they are, and romantic settings, and everything has to be there. The lighting in the morning when the Manjaris are coming in the kunja, the soft, cooling lighting, and how romantic it is. Remember, this is what I'm describing. Don't get lost in Ram Leela. Bring it all back. So now we come back to Kubja. Just giving you a little background. Now Kubja, when she received Krishna in her house, it gives a beautiful description of a romantic atmosphere. There were on a table next to the bed. There were bottles of liquor and wine. There were in the room there were fragrant incense burning. There was aguro and musk and aphrodisiac fragrances, and there were hot pink wallpaper. And she just took a bath, and she was anointed with fresh oils and perfume, and her hair was all done up in makeup. She was looking very beautiful. So all these are part of the romantic setting. So when the Manjaris are coming here in Nikunja Lila, this is Nikunja Banga Lila, they're entering there. That's what's being described here. The beautiful light coming from this oil lamp. It's showing this beautiful romantic setting of the Nikunja. So right there on the page of the Bhagavatam, you see the beautiful arrangement that Kuja made to receive the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mathuranath Sri Krishna. Very elaborate, every possible thing you could do to create excitement and interest, let's say. And the other party was done. So the kunjas where Radha and Krishna enjoy, they're completely arranged by the Sakhi Manjaris for their conjugal enjoyment and pleasure. The lighting, the beautiful sandalwood lighting. There's oil lamps in the corner burning, but they're not burning kerosene, they're not burning mustard oil, they're burning sandalwood oil. In the old days in the South India, in the temples thousands of years ago, they had ghee lamps for the deities. It was all sandalwood oil. Now it's all mustard oil. Kali Yuga. So now they have fainted in ecstasy from each other's touch, and they're lying next to each other, heart to heart. The Sakhis and Manjaris are staring at this gorgeous, or I would say, admiring this gorgeous sight with the unblinking eyes. They're floating in an ocean of blissful rasa as they discuss this sweet vision with each other. Look, so beautiful, so romantic, so sweet. On Brindadevi's indication, a male and female parrot begin to sing a song to wake up Krishna. So this is the translation of their Sanskrit song. Hari, Hari, wake up, Utto, Utto, oh Nayaka, oh hero. That rascal Brahma, that rascal creator is giving you so much misery by causing the night to end. Oh, Queen of Braj, Yashoda Rani, the Queen of Braj is very eager to churn the yogurt for your pleasure. Quick. When our clever hero Krishna hears these words from the parrot, he becomes worried and slightly opens his eyes. But when he sees his Priyaji next to him, he again closes his eyes. And the Manjari brings, knowing what is needed, the Manjari brings a jeweled lamp close by, brings close to the flower bed. Then Krishna holds the chin of his beloved Radha, and tears are streaming from Krishna's eyes as he beholds Rai's moon-like face. And at this exchange, where Krishna is looking at Radharani and crying, looking at Radhika Rai's face, and Radharani's looking at Krishna's face with tears coming down, they're both experiencing the greatest ecstasy. That's what it says here. They start shivering in ecstasy from their mutual darshan. Every day we take darshan of Radha and Krishna. Do we shiver and tremble in ecstasy? Does our hair stand on end? When we see the murti of Radha and Krishna, do tears trickle from our eyes? No. I had the good fortune when I stayed in Sevakunj in Prabhupada's rooms. I lived there for 3 years, 89 to 92. I saw some very advanced devotees there that would come for darshan of Damodarji. One quiet time, not Kartik, but winter time. Kartik, I never saw them. But winter time, they would come and take darshan alone, no one around, very close to the Thakurji, Damodar. Damodar, Joy Damodar, Joy Damodar. That's how they say it, Damodar. They never say Radha Damodar. I lived there for 3 years. In the morning I say Jai Radha. They say Joy Damodar, Joy Damodar. It's only Damodar. Well, what about Radharani and Lalita and Radha Vrindavan Chandra and Radha Madhav and Radha Chalchikan? There's 4 Radha Krishna deities on the Radha Damodar altar in Vrindavan Sevakunj. But it's only Joy Damodar, Joy Damodar. So, Joy Damodar. And I would say, they would say Joy Damodar, I'd say Radha. And they would just laugh. The grandfather, Gaur Mohan Dey, he would say Joy Damodar. Then Nirmal Chand Goswami, he said Joy Damodar. Then Kanya Prasad Goswami, the eldest son, he says Joy Damodar. And Krishna Balaram Goswami says Joy Damodar. And Krishna Balaram Goswami says Joy Damodar. And Tarun Goswami says Joy Damodar. And the other one, there's 5 brothers. Joy Damodar. So they would take darshan of Krishna and tears would trickle down their face because they were very loving devotees. So the Manjaris are seeing this beautiful scene, and then they come in the kunja and they decorate their bodies with the cosmetics that have fallen from Radha and Madhav's body onto the flower bed. And the garlands have the broken flowers they string together in the garlands, the very sweet, because of the young couple's sweet love. It's all embedded in those flowers and the fragrance. And they hang them around their own necks and they feel boundless bliss. And suddenly that vision breaks and the Manjari can't, and Saraswati doesn't see this meditation. Then he humbly prays to his deity that he can attain this fortune again. So I said, this is what happens in the kingdom of sadhana, the advanced devotees. They see the Leela, then they don't see the Leela. When they don't see the Leela, they cry and they pray, and they hanker and they hope. They cry and they pray, and they hanker and they hope to see again. Then when they see and they serve and they relish bliss, and then they don't see the Leela, then they lament and they cry and they hanker for more. This is an example of bhajan expertise shown by great devotees like Tulsi Manjari, Rati Manjari, Raghunath Das Goswami, Prabhupada Saraswati Pad, and other great devotees, Narottam Das, Thakur Mahashaya. Of course, keep in mind that such divine Leela sportis, or visions of Leela in such a profound and deep and involved way where you actually have Leela pravation, you're hearing the divine couple laugh, or you're seeing them, or you're serving them, or you're receiving things from them, and charity as prasadam usually doesn't happen until one comes to the level of bhava or prema. A momentary glimpse of Radha and Krishna or Murtis in a dream is not the same as what's being described in these books. So that's the basic experience here, that the sun is risen at the end of night of Radha and Krishna's Nikunja Leela. And they rise from their flower bed and rush off to Barsana and Nandagram and then jump into their beds before Mukara and Yashoda come to wake them up. Suddenly Yogamaya, means Purnamasi, suddenly Yogamaya and the mercy of Radha bring Raghunath Das and Saraswati directly into the Leela, and he has a sporti, a deep absorbing inner vision of Radha and Krishna's loving pastimes. So this is, and it's Sarupi serving there. So this is what we hanker for. We have to hear about perfection and become enchanted by what is perfection, what is the experience of the perfected, what is the experience of the siddhas. They're writing about them, they're sharing with them their experiences with us. It's called Anubhav. They're pointing us in that direction, and they're guiding us in that direction, and they're telling us how to pray, and how to meditate, and how to hanker, and how to desire. So they change the content, their teachings, their shiksha, their books, their leelas, they change the content of our mind and thinking. Because for thousands and millions of lifetimes and lakhs of births and untold numbers of yonis and wombs, we've been cultivating the desire to enjoy. Aham mameti, I and mine. I am this body, I am these senses, I am the enjoyer, and everything is mine, and everything is for my pleasure. So this is wrong thinking, wrong desiring, and wrong acting. And by this wrong thinking and wrong desiring and wrong acting, we're forced to rotate in the samsara, life after life after life. So now we're taught how to desire correctly and hanker correctly and act correctly. So this is the great bliss that awaits the advanced devotee when they can see and serve and relish the nectar bliss. Sevananda Amrit. Sevananda Amrit, the nectar bliss of seva to Radha and Krishna's Leela. But then all too soon that beautiful sweet vision vanishes and leaves one's consciousness. And then the devotee laments, vilap. He cries in despair, oh, I saw it. Actually, I don't know about yourselves, but even devotees that aren't on the level of bhav or prema, sometimes they have very vivid experiences of leelas and sevas in their meditations. And then it comes out of nowhere and it vanishes into nowhere. And then you're left nowhere, crying again for such a blessing. Every day you close your eyes and you chant. Ideally you chant in a dark room. It's totally dark, totally quiet. And you're just chanting, and out of that you're absorbed in the mantra, the vibration and the meaning and vibration of the Maha Mantra. And by mercy of Guru and Yogamaya and your Guru Parampara, you may see some Leela will come. And you're going with that, then all the blackness of the dark room and the blackness of your closed eyes and the blackness inside your mind becomes colorful and beautiful and picturesque and transcendental. This can happen even for sadhakas way before the level of bhava. And then it will come by mercy and go. Then you'll think, then it may be months before you get such experience again, or even years. But one thing for sure is you will have such experiences. I will finish this part, the balance of this notes on this verse tomorrow. Already over time. Well, sorry for that. And we'll continue with new verse tomorrow. Shri Radha Rasuranidhi ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Sham.